And before all the comments are like, my glorious king has no weaknesses, King Sukuna is untouchable, unstoppable, unbelievable. What's up, guys? Pumps here, and here we are to do a breakdown / discussion in order to determine what Meguna's worst stat is. Like, notably, we've already covered his best stat in another video, but like, what's the worst one? What could it be? The glorious, strongest sorcerer of all time in the body of a 15... That sounds so bad. But like, I mean, hey, incarnated into the body of a 10 Shadows user who happens to be a 15, maybe 16-year-old. What could his worst stat be? What could be the thing that makes Sukuna fall from perfection and ultimately leave him in a state where he could be vulnerable? Weak? Not the pinnacle of creation? Oh no! What could this possibly be? Let's not waste any more time and let's find out. Editing me. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go. What's up, guys? That guy with a pencil here. Fun fact, I do happen to have it on me and keep it on me at all times. And another fun fact, Ryomen Sukuna is really, really strong. I don't think it's like a weird claim, a wrong claim, like an incorrect, like I hope I can just say that cleanly and plainly. So when I come to you talking about Ryomen Sukuna's worst stat while in the body of Megumi Fushiguro, I hope we can all come to the common consensus and realize when I say this, whatever I determine his worst stat is, I'm not saying he's weak. I'm not saying it's fodder. I'm not even saying he's not number one in whatever worst stat I say he has. He isn't. He isn't. But still, I'm not saying. Trust me. All right. So good. Let me. I've been glazing him for a while now. All right. I mean, to be fair, I've been speaking what I believe is the truth. But hey, one man's truth is another man's glaze. So all right, I'm extending the olive branch. I probably should have extended the olive branch to Gojo fans too, but I really did. But still, I suppose because I am still technically a Gojo fan, so I feel hopefully I'm safe. But Sukuna fans, I'm not sure if y'all accepted me yet. All right, we're extending the olive branch. All right, we good. We got let's shake on it. Beautiful. His worst stat is power. The king's weak, at least seemingly. And now, this may sound absolutely crazy, but you may be like, well, Pencil Man, you're kind of just leaped to the point. What do you mean his worst stat is power? But when you think about it, it's the one thing that basically does no damage to Gojo, except maybe like one time. And even then, I don't think that one time counts. Because every other stat of Sukuna's is stupid. Like, stupid. Like, stupid. Like, let's just talk about the ones that are not in discussion. The first one not in discussion, hacks. I'm sorry, you mean to tell me the man who can turn off cursed techniques, has a cursed technique that auto-adjusts your durability, has the one, maybe the one of 2 open domain barriers in the entire series that may destroy other domains? There's a hot debate on whether or not Kenjaku's domain destroys other domains. I personally think it does, but that's another video for another time. But essentially, a guy who has a domain that hard counters every other domain, and also has access to the best technique that isn't the Limitless in the 6 size, and that isn't Copy, and that isn't Kenjaku's technique. And okay, there are a couple techniques that are better than 10 Shadows, but still, he has access to 10 Shadows and Tamed Raga, and can use Tamed Raga, and he has Mini Fan. I'm sorry. Once you throw Mini Fan on top, I can't argue for the hacks being the worst stat in any universe. So hacks are untouchable. Once again, another stat that's pretty much untouchable for this Sukuna, even though I will admit it's probably his most lacking best stat, which sounds so weird. His durability is also stupid. This man's unbelievably tanky for no good reason. He's just bulky. He's bulky through the moon, and that's, I feel like it's not too much of a crazy thing to say that his durability cannot be his worst stat, considering the predication and use of his hacks all relies on his durability. The whole reason that Big Raga is able to adapt to Unlimited Void for Sukuna is because Sukuna is just that bulky and was able to withstand the beating that Satoru Gojo... Why did I say Satoru Gojo? Satoru Gojo gave him inside the domain clashes while Sukuna was tanking so Mahara could adapt to Limited Void, leading to Big Raga being able to pop out and pop Unlimited Void like a soap bubble. It's all because of the durability. And obviously Big Raga has hacks, so hacks included, yeah. Hacks and durability, they're completely clear. Those are the only two that can debate for like Meguna's best stat. Then you may be wondering, okay, Pencil Man, sure. In terms of power, speed, durability, and hacks and durability are untouchable for Sukuna. But why is not his worst stat speed or anything like that? Because he's kind of stupid in that too. Like, not stupid to the same degree that his durability is stupid, and not stupid to the same degree that his hacks are stupid, but like, his speed is nothing to scoff at. Every single time he seems to get overwhelmed in speed, it's because he's just either A, messing around, or B, genuinely caught off guard a little bit. He gets overwhelmed in speed here, because he's taking a little bit of brain damage because he got hit by a bit of unlimited void. And then boom, he gets beamed. He gets caught off guard in terms of speed here. Not here. Where is it? Where is it? Come here. You can't hide from me, 226. You get caught here, but even then, it's not like Sukuna gets fully blitzed. He even notices, oh, his speed just now. So, like, he notes when Gojo uses blue. And there are later points on in the fight where Gojo, like, attempts to blitz Sukuna post the domain fatigue, and then Sukuna's like, you know I can see everything you do, Satoru Gojo. Like, legitimately, Gojo starts blitzing around, slamming him through stuff. Sukuna takes basically no damage. They end up going in for a domain clash. Not a domain clash, but a clash of fists. Gojo starts perception blitzing around so much that he's causing literal after images. Sukuna perfectly reacts to one that came from behind him. His speed is kind of cracked. It's just not as cracked as his durability or his hacks. He's not slow. Like, notably, every single time he interacts with Gojo, they're pretty neutral, especially post-domain clashes. And once again, every single time he's overwhelmed, quote-unquote, in a domain clash, is because he's not using DA. And even then, it's not that his speed is a problem, it's the fact that Gojo's overwhelming power to the face is a problem. And even then, that overwhelming power is a result of Gojo's hacks. Not necessarily his raw power. So I think I've covered why the other ones aren't. Except for maybe speed. Speed may still be debatable, but let me talk about why Sukuna's power, at least as Meguna, is like pretty underwhelming. Because I ask you, when did Sukuna really do damage to Gojo with just his raw power? Like, just in fisticuffs? When did it happen? Can you tell me when it happened? Like, when was a time where Sukuna punched Gojo in the face or kicked Gojo and it did, like, real damage? Can you tell me? Because personally, off the top of my dome, and I've been looking at these chapters for a while now, I can't really think of a time. Like, notably, even when Sukuna is using Domain Amp. So this is for a lot of people who don't have faith in Domain Amp. You can maybe make arguments Sukuna's holding back. But the thing is, and through a lot of their encounters, Sukuna's regular punches and kicks, they just don't do that much. Of course, this is an interaction likely before he's using DA, considering DA seems to show up later. They exchange even blows here, but Sukuna doesn't really land a hit outside this kick that is caught. And then he gets thrown through a building, and then he runs a little bit, and then he catches the building, only to get pushed through the building anyway. Then he sends out a dismantle, and then he sends a punch towards Gojo, but then Gojo catches the punch, even through Domain Amp. And they fly through the building, once again, neither of them taking much damage, and they walk out. Okay, this is 224, but maybe his power gets shown off somewhere else. Not really, as this chapter 225 is entirely about their domain expansions, and Gojo never gets a hand laid on him by Sukuna while he's in his domain expansion. Never once. At least not in this chapter. Oh, maybe he does in 226. Maybe he lays hands on Gojo then. Oh, he tries to. And he does. He lays hands on him. But he doesn't lay hands on him, you know what I'm talking about. In terms of, like, raw power, you don't really see it. Because, once again, we're opening up with Sukuna just standing on his domain. Then Gojo goes to run, and Sukuna, once again, showing his relative speed to Gojo, just reappears right next to him. He kicks, but Gojo, while still by 11 Shrine, blocks. And notably, Gojo is cursed techniqueless right now, so he blocks the kick. Knees Sukuna. Sukuna's durability gets shown off here by the fact that he takes no damage from the knee. But then he grabs Gojo's leg, and then dodges Gojo's punch, and then reversals out of there on some Cage 2 type beat. No damage is done to Gojo outside of what's being done by Malevolent Shrine, aka Cleaves, aka hacks. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just isn't really there, per se. And here's the thing. Even when these two go into clashing, again, when Gojo activates Similar Main, Sukuna whiffs, he then activates Malevolent Shrine again. Or regular Shrine. That's what does damage to Gojo here, not any of Sukuna's hits that he doesn't even land. And then Simple Domain happens again, he blocks a kick, and then bada bing bada boom, he gets grabbed. Once again, none of Sukuna's raw power is really... He's not hitting nothing. And whenever he does hit, it doesn't do much. But then maybe, it gets better in chapter 227. Hypothetically, possibly, this could be the case where again when Sukuna shows off his crazy overwhelming power in the body of Mega Fuji Girl. How wild... Oh. So in the first part of the chapter, he doesn't, because he's opening and widening Malevolent Shrine again. And then... they exchange blows, and Sukuna lands some love taps on Gojo. He does tag him through Infinity, through Domain Amp, but once again, the damage is negligible, if not flat-out non-existent. And then he dodges, he weaves, showing off his speed, and then he takes a hit, showing off his durability, but he doesn't really tag Gojo here at all. And once again, it's Shrine, his hacks that come through and do damage to Gojo and shatter his domain and all that. So where is this overwhelming raw power from Meguna? Oh wait, it just doesn't exist. And unfortunately, the pattern just continues. Like, I'm telling you, throughout this entire fight, there's one time where I think a hit from Meguna does damage. Because we continue into 228, and they're clashing inside the domain, but then we come out, and Gojo is still cleanly untouched. His clothes aren't even torn. Meanwhile, Meguna has a hole in his chest. And is leaking from the mouth. Showing his power, once again, it just wasn't all that. Of course, is he using domain amp? No. Is his Shrine hitting Gojo? No. So, of course, Gojo takes no damage, right? It only makes sense. But then, we run into another scenario where Meguna's running away from the scenario. He blocks a hit, he gets knocked back, but, once again, no power is really being shown off here. No raw, yeah! Or, I would kick, but I don't have socks on. Nor shoes. I just have flip-flops. And I'm not putting my feet on the internet. But with it being the case, no, nothing really happens power-wise in 228, and the pattern continues in 229. Ultimately, the two do exchange blows, but do they really, though? We get the Gojo wins panel, then Sukuna's blocking a bunch, gets thrown around by Limitless, and then gets pulled into a punch that he blocks, only to get blasted in the face by a red. Huh. Yeah, that's no good, is it? And then he gets knocked back, and then they're back into another domain clash. And then we don't get to see much of this domain clash because Gojo had the Unlimited Void prepped 1 second sooner, and then everything collapses, and then, oh, Mahoraga has to come out and break Sukuna out of Unlimited Void's effects. And then, in all of 230, not a single punch is even thrown by Sukuna. It's a Yap chapter. And then the final punch that actually is thrown isn't thrown by Sukuna, who, well, by the way, went to execute Gojo with his hacks, another domain expansion and adapting to infinity. But no, he just tries the domain, and then he gets brain damage, and then Gojo punches him in the mouth. Once again, there's not really any showcase of Sukuna's power. It's basically non-existent. That's why it kind of has to clearly be his worst stat. Like, when I was doing the best stat video for Meguna, I kept trying to keep quiet about what I thought, but I low-key hinted at what I thought was the worst stat there, too. And really, it just is his power. Once again, the only time we see something remotely power-wise impressive from Meguna is, like, here and one other time, where Meguna's dodging, but Gojo dodges, so his power's not really shown off, but he catches Gojo's fist, which is, once again, half power, half durability. Then he knocks Gojo away with a punch, but the punch basically does no damage. And then the wheel spins again. Oh wait, those are his hacks. They exchange blows. Gojo takes basically no damage. And the power of the traffic light is stopped by infinity. So his throwing strength isn't all that either. We're on chapter 231, by the way. I've blown through a majority of the fight, and I can only show you one time where Sukuna actually hit Gojo. And it did something, at least recoil-wise, but didn't do anything in terms of showing off Sukuna's power. Uh-oh, Spaghetti-O. What else could we be? Where else could we be? Maybe there's power shown off in 232. Oh, wait, no. Sukuna's dodging for a lot of that. And he goes in for a kick, but the kick gets caught. Uh-oh. Then he takes damage. Uh-oh. And then he runs through everything else. Uh-oh, he blocks. Look, more durability feats, crazy durability feats, but raw power? No. He gets a red back shot into a black flash. Then he goes for a little nappy nap nighttime. And then he gets woken up and saved by Daddy Raga. So, like, once again, if anything, Mahoraga's power is shown off here, not Sukuna's, because he's the one who actually does the slash damage to Gojo, which is more damage than Sukuna's done with his own raw fist this entire, at the point that I've gotten to in the fight, 11 chapter fight. And then even further on, the power of Meguna is just never really highlighted, because we see that Gojo does take damage from Meguna here, but what is it with? Oh, yeah. Not any of Sukuna's regular punches. Ooh, yeah, he takes damage from a what? From a who? From Minifant. Piercing water. That's hacks. That's not his raw power. That's not his punches. That's not his kicks. That's the only bit of damage. Notable, real, like, blood drawing damage that Sukuna does to Gojo throughout their entire encounter with his actual physicals. That's it. He doesn't do anything else. Because we're going to see one more occasion when maybe something could have popped off. But I can tell you, it's not in the back half of 234, because Sukuna's not even fighting. It's Ahito and Mahoraga who are swinging and going crazy and going stupid. And then when Meguna finally pops out, he lands one good kick after Gojo's already lost an arm. And even then, this one good kick, quote-unquote, maybe draws a little bit of blood. But as we see from Gojo's face here, not too much. That's the only showing of power he really has. Even against Yurozu, I didn't end up pulling up that fight, because once again, he's holding back throughout a lot of it. But even then, he doesn't actually do much damage. He doesn't punch away much of her stuff. That's the 10 Shadows doing a lot of the work during that fight. That's his hacks! For Meguna's raw power, it's basically non-existent. At least showings of it are. And that's crazy, considering how much raw power reliant the other two are. Like, trust me, we're going to have a much more contentious discussion on what's the worst and best stat for the other variations of Sukuna, because they actually have variants. Like, genuinely, we don't know what their best move is, what their worst move is, or what their best stat is, what their worst stat is. At least not as easily, because they do have power feats. They do be kicking and punching real hard and doing real damage with those kicks and punches. But Meguna? Not really. Even in 235, he doesn't hit Gojo once. He swings, gets whirled around, and thrown into Maharaga. Then Maharaga eats a Black Flash. And then Sukuna's screaming, trying to get the purple to stop, only for Gojo to come in. Then another hack space attack, piercing water, gets redirected as Sukuna gets punched away, and then Unlimited Hollow happens. So for your reference, after I just ran through the entire fight, unless you want me to show you 236 where Gojo's already in half, Sukuna lands 3 hits with his fists or feet. Every other hit is either blocked, dodged, or neutralized. Every bit of damage Sukuna actually does in Meguna body is through his hacks. Even then, some of the hits that he lands where he tags Gojo and they do no damage, those are because of his hacks. Domain Am. His power kind of sucks, y'all. I'm sorry. It's unique to this version of Sukuna, though. It's why I'm so focused on doing separate stat videos for each variation of Sukuna, because they all change. The only ones that may slightly overlap, and I'll think about it, and then I'll see if I'll make the videos for Yuji Kuna. Yuji Kuna and True Body Sukuna, they kind of do overlap, but even then, that's a little bit different based on how both of them end up acting in their respective battles. But for Meguna, his power has to be his worst stat. He just has nothing to really show for it. And that's unfortunate, considering he is the strongest sorcerer of all time. For his power, his raw gains to be the most underwhelming thing, and one of his most hacks diverse forms is kind of wacky, kind of silly, kind of goofy. Honestly, pretty sad. But at least that's what I think. Please let you guys think in the comment section down below. Do you think Sukuna's or Meguna's worst stat is something else? Do you think it isn't power? Do you think maybe it's his hacks? Do you think maybe it's his durability? Do you think maybe it's his speed? Please let me know all that and more in the comment section down below. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, please leave Pillow Puncher. Leave Pillow Puncher in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. And make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do happen to have a Patreon down below where you can support me for as low as $1 month. He links like exclusive videos, early content, and more. You also now become a member of the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. So those perks will include the live reaction to the very next chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen, and free variations of all my videos, and if you become a $25 patron, well, a $25 patron or a $25 member, you can order whatever video you want. Also, I do have a link to my Ko-Fi in the description down below, where you can drop 5 beans for a 5 beans for a short video, 25 beans for a long video, or any beans at all. Any support is always greatly appreciated. Now, thank you so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is That with a Pencil, writing off. I'd like to give a thank you to our $3 members: Zera, Greyhound, Eternal Flame, NMA, Real Rare, Redwolf 4765, Paris Arnold, Astro, and Brandon Payne. And I'd like to give a thank you to our $5 patrons: Zombie Hunter, Sean, Midnight Lord 21, King, Meliodas, Kevin, Encarnacion, Josh Brown, and A+A. And I'd like to give a thank you to our $7 members: Autumn, Mornings, Lazo, and Fine. And I'd like to give a thank you to our $10 members: Robbie Uchiha, Jay Warrior, and AZ Void. And I'd like to give a big ol' thank you to our $10 patrons: Michael Williamson, Joaquin Munoz, and Idem Okami. And I'd like to give a final gargantuan thank you to our $25 patron, Calvin Elder.